A French writer once famously said, "The temple grants us hope and sleep to compensate for all the sorrows of life." However, there's a truth that the easier something is to benefit our lives, the fewer people are willing to do it. That's why so many still don't truly value their sleep. I've seen articles like this: Harvard campus at midnight, libraries ablaze with light, countless students immersed in knowledge, as if they possessed endless energy and could study without rest. Such content is widely embraced, and many believe that successful people must endure hardships others cannot. Yet, everyone has 24 hours in a day. How can one gain more time? The only thing many exploit is their sleep. Cutting into sleep to gain more active hours for material goals or fame, such as increasing income or personal utility, has long become a viable method for modern people. What about you? Do you think sleep is just wasted time? Do you have many reasons to cut back on your sleep? Perhaps you frequently drink coffee and energy drinks to stay refreshed every morning. Do you often feel drowsy around 10 or 11 a.m. after waking up? If the answer is yes, then I sincerely hope you'll take the time to reflect on the true value of sleep through today's book. Today, I'd like to share a truly beneficial and useful book with you, titled Why We Sleep. It's considered an encyclopedia of sleep that Bill Gates himself highly recommended and praised. It has been translated into 34 languages and is renowned worldwide. Its author is Matthew Walker, a British scientist, professor of neuroscience and psychology at the University of California, and a world-renowned sleep expert who has received a science award. The results of experiments show that this is not the case at all. Our bodies are not solely governed by sunlight, they have their own rhythm. Even in caves, where sunlight cannot reach, humans still follow their biological clock. This rhythm is considered a biological clock that creates a cycle, causing people to feel sleepy and wake up at regular times, both day and night. We can view the circadian rhythm as a timer within the human body. This timer is located in a place called the suprachiasmatic nucleus, SCN, at the center of the brain, which controls when a person falls asleep and wakes up. The SCN is responsible for relaying day and night signals to different parts of the body through a circulating messenger, melatonin. Imagine it like a loudspeaker, primarily tasked with informing the brain and body that it's late and it's time to sleep. So, from a scientific perspective, we know that everyone needs to sleep because each person has a circadian rhythm that dictates when we feel sleepy and when we should wake up. The circadian rhythm essentially works to balance the time you spend sleeping and the time you're awake. From this broader perspective, we see that humans must sleep to conform to the universe's law of balance. Balance is the origin and essence of all things, and it is also the law governing the entire universe: creation, sustenance, decay, and destruction. Just like humans, we must go through birth, aging, sickness, and death. Haven't you noticed? The more abundant material wealth becomes, the more easily wisdom declines. The more advanced technology gets, the emptier our spirits feel. The more developed social tools become, the wider the gap between people. The more readily available knowledge is, the poorer our capacity for independent thought. Our bodies are no different. If you sleep soundly, you'll be more alert. If you stay awake too much, you'll become sleep-deprived. The human body is like a miniature universe, always subtly seeking its own balance. Waking and sleeping times must always be appropriately adjusted within our bodies. Balance is crucial for continued existence. If you constantly stay up late, suffer from insomnia, pull all-nighters, or oversleep, you will break this balance. And if you defy that law of balance, you will pay a very steep price. Don't try to fight the powerful sleep pressure. Do you know why sleeping pills and stimulants can help us fall asleep quickly? It's because they contain melatonin. Besides this melatonin loudspeaker telling you to go to sleep, there's another powerful force constantly pressuring you to feel sleepy. It's called sleep pressure, and its main component is adenosine. From the moment you wake up, adenosine begins to track the number of hours you've been awake. If this reaches a maximum level, it will work to reduce brain alertness and increase activity in sleep-inducing areas, causing you to feel drowsy and fuzzy. At this point, to ward off sleepiness, people often turn to caffeine. Caffeine is adenosine's enemy. But you need to know that using these substances means you're waging war against your own body. Adenosine and caffeine are like two generals constantly vying for territory in the brain. While adenosine can directly invade the areas of alertness, caffeine can only temporarily block that invasion. It's like putting your fingers in your ears to reduce noise, but you can't directly eliminate the sound. This is why you feel wide awake after drinking coffee, but then you'll feel sleepy again after a while. Therefore, if you rely on melatonin to fall asleep or caffeine to stay awake, in the long run, your body's biological clock will be disrupted, severely impacting your internal balance and leading to endless problems. Is waking up early a standard for success? There's another important point about the circadian rhythm. Everyone has their own individual biological clock. Surveys show that about 40% of the total population prefers to work and is most productive in the early morning. These people are called early birds. Approximately 30% of the population works effectively at night. They are called night owls. The remaining 30% are in between, meaning they can adjust their schedules flexibly. For a long time, according to societal standards, early rising has been seen as a measure of success. Early risers are considered diligent and disciplined, while night owls are perceived as lazy. However, we must understand that research shows genetic factors drive some people to be morning or night types, rather than it being a personal choice. But here's the problem. We also have another crucial rhythm to follow, which is the societal rhythm. This societal rhythm dictates working during the day for most jobs that humans currently perform. If you are a night owl and don't have to wake up early for work, then you can comfortably live by your own rhythm. But if you go to bed late and still have to wake up early, your night owl genes are sabotaging your complete sleep. Moreover, with insufficient sleep, your body is like a cold engine that takes a long time to warm up. Therefore, anything you do won't be effective. Similarly, if morning people have to work late into the night, their bodies will also suffer severe consequences. So, when faced with the perennial debate, do we absolutely have to wake up early? Which lifestyle is better, morning or evening? The truth is, neither is absolutely right. What's best is what suits your mental and physical rhythm, but crucially, you must get enough sleep. In a previous video, I encouraged everyone to wake up early, coupled with going to bed early. The first reason is that the majority of people have a morning-type biological clock or can adjust freely. The second reason is that research indicates that genetically determined circadian tendencies cannot be changed. But the good news is that you can take steps to influence your biological clock and shift from being a night owl to a morning person. The method here is to focus on morning habits. Dr. Rogan suggested that first, decide on your desired wake-up time. Then, no matter how tired you are, get out of bed and expose yourself to sunlight. Studies have found that sunlight can improve your circadian rhythm. This will help your body adjust to an earlier schedule. Once your body is accustomed to starting the day earlier, you will naturally begin to fall asleep earlier in the evening. Next, before bed, try to minimize exposure to artificial light and blue light from devices like computers, fluorescent lamps, TV screens, and mobile phones. Instead, use dim lights, bedside lamps, or reading lights. And the final reason I recommend sleeping early and waking early is that early mornings are always wonderful. We cannot deny that the universe always favors the early hours. You'll find most living things awaken in the morning. The scent of plants and flowers, the fresh air, it's only present in the crisp early morning, just like in the Oscar-winning animated film's meaningful song, Always With Me, which says, "Morning, all things reborn, I come to the quiet window. When all returns to zero, I gradually fill. I won't need to search beyond the sea. The shining treasure is always here. I can find it right within me." The shining treasure here is your ultimate goal, what you are seeking answers for. All are available right within you, and the most suitable time to find it is in the morning. How serious are the harms of sleep deprivation? How long can a person stay awake before their behavioral performance objectively declines? This question was posed to Dr. David Dinges, a pioneer in sleep research, and he conducted an experiment to find out exactly how much sleep humans need. He used a test to measure a person's concentration levels when sleep deprived. The method was simple. When a light cue on the computer appeared, participants had to press the corresponding button within a specified time. The lights sometimes came on consecutively, sometimes a few seconds apart. He divided subjects into 4 groups. 1. Did not sleep for 3 consecutive nights. 2. Slept 4 hours per night for 6 nights. 3. Slept 6 hours per night. 4. Slept a full 8 hours per night. Each group then slept 8 hours the night before the experiment began. Finally, the experiment concluded, and he drew 3 important conclusions. First, different levels of sleep deprivation cause subjects to react slowly or even not react at all. Second, those who slept a full 8 hours each night performed perfectly for 2 weeks. In contrast, the first group, who went without sleep for 3 consecutive nights, suffered the most severe blow. They couldn't concentrate, and their error rate increased by 400%. Those who slept 4 hours per night for 6 consecutive nights also reacted as poorly as those who went without sleep for 3 nights. And what about those who sleep 6 hours per night? I believe many of us sleep only 6 hours a night for most of our lives. He found that people who sleep this way for 10 consecutive days would experience health deterioration no different from those who went without sleep for 24 hours. And third, when a person is sleep deprived, they don't realize how sleep deprived they actually are. This is extremely dangerous. You might think that all participants would recover and regain their performance after a long sleep. This thought is similar to the idea we often follow, catching up on sleep on weekends after days of insufficient sleep. However, you need to stop this intention immediately. It's a very mistaken practice. In reality, even after 3 very long nights of recovery sleep, we cannot return to our original state, that is, the body's condition after 8 hours of sleep per day. So, if your sleep is currently less than 6 hours, please be careful. You should adjust your sleep time and state as soon as possible. Also, try to take short naps during the day to mitigate the harm caused by sleep deprivation. Through this experiment, we can see the short-term harm of sleep deprivation on human reactions, but it doesn't stop there, as sleep deprivation also causes extremely serious long-term harms. First, sleep deprivation causes emotional dysregulation. On the left and right sides of the brain, there's a structure called the amygdala. This is a crucial area for activating emotions, including anger. Imagine that when we are driving, the amygdala is like the accelerator. Your lack of sleep will cause us to lose our brakes, meaning your brain's ability to regulate emotions will decline. This will lead to wild emotional swings and erratic moods. Severely, it can make our mental state extremely unstable, leading to anxiety, depression, or mania. Many people think that mental disorders cause sleep disturbances, meaning sadness, suffering, trauma, and pressure lead to insomnia. But that's not the case. Severe sleep deprivation is the trigger for mental disorders. Second, sleep deprivation deprives people of physical health. We must remember that sleep quality and cardiovascular health always go hand in hand. Scientists have found that sleep deprivation can deal a blow to the heart, especially after middle age, when physical health begins to decline and the ability to recover gradually diminishes. For adults over 45, sleeping less than 6 hours per night carries a 200% higher risk of heart attack and stroke compared to those who sleep 7 hours per night. Additionally, sleep deprivation can lead to Alzheimer's disease. This is a brain disease that erodes memory due to toxic proteins accumulating in parts of the frontal lobe, killing surrounding brain cells when we lack deep sleep. Imagine how agonizing it would be if you couldn't even remember the names of your own children or loved ones. Statistics show that 1 in 10 people over 65 suffers from this disease, and currently, it has no cure. The final thing you need to be aware of is that chronic sleep deprivation can also affect gene transmission, meaning it can impact your offspring. The author suggests that any factor that shakes genetic stability leads to certain consequences, and sleep deprivation can disrupt genetic stability, increasing the risk of disease in newborns. So, we've discussed the serious harms of sleep deprivation. What are the benefits that sleep brings? In this section, I'll focus on one of sleep's most wonderful powers, a power that only you can achieve alone. 2 or more people working together cannot create it, and that is dreams. Why are dreams during sleep so incredibly important? Let's start with the human sleep model. Researchers at the University of Chicago, by observing brain wave fluctuations, eye movements, and muscle activity of infants during sleep, discovered that humans don't just sleep. There are 2 completely different types of sleep that alternate. These two types of sleep are named NREM, non-rapid eye movement, sleep, and REM, rapid eye movement sleep. During REM sleep, human brain activity is almost like being awake and is closely related to the dream experience. Therefore, this sleep stage is also called dream sleep. The psychologist Freud mentioned in his book, The Interpretation of Dreams, that dreams come from people's repressed desires. These desires are like a layer of clothing covering the brain, making them not easily recognizable, but during sleep, they are revealed. For example, if you dream about worrying about something, it means that in reality, you haven't been able to do what you wanted. However, this explanation is too general and cannot be specifically applied to different dreams. At this point, scientists have further proven that dreams accurately reflect your emotions. Haven't you always heard the saying, "Time heals all wounds"? But is it really true? This book tells us that it is more accurately. Dream time heals your wounds tenderly. Why is that? NREM sleep consists of 4 stages, going from drowsiness to a hazy conscious state, then deep sleep, and finally very deep sleep. After the deep sleep phase, the sleeper enters REM sleep. It appears about 70 to 90 minutes after you fall into deep sleep, and the sleeper will alternate between REM and NREM sleep 4 to 6 times each night. However, deep sleep dominates only the first 2 sleep cycles and appears less frequently later in the night. Therefore, if you wake up after these first 2 cycles, you won't fall back into deep sleep, and most of the remaining time will be REM sleep. This is when dreams occur. What does this mean? It means that most of your sleep time is spent in REM sleep and dreaming. It's unique because rapid eye movement, combined with dreams occurring during REM sleep, acts as a healing therapy for you at night. When your eyes move rapidly, anxiety-causing neurotransmitters in the brain temporarily cease their release. Furthermore, during rapid eye movement, dreams bring fragments of painful events and existing knowledge within you, combining them in a way that allows for self-reflection and analysis within your dream. This helps you heal pain and worries. At the same time, good quality dreams can help you discover more subtle aspects of life when you wake up. You see, the power of dreams is truly miraculous. Last night's dream is giving you renewed energy to face life's challenges. And don't worry if you have nightmares or bad feelings in your dreams. Your body's mechanism is helping you release suffering. Sleeping well to have dreams is like having your own therapist, helping to relieve your tired body and mind. Conversely, if you lack sleep, it's as if you're throwing away a precious medicine for your spirit. Now, it's essential to understand the factors that hinder your sleep and how we can improve them. So, what are these factors that hinder our sleep? First, constantly bright lights and LED lights. Remember that humans are visual creatures. More than 1/3 of the brain is dedicated to processing visual information, more than for processing sound or smell. Many people like to scroll on their phones before bed, but the light emitted from mobile phones delays the brain's process of secreting melatonin, which in turn delays the time it takes for people to fall asleep. Related studies have found that using electronic devices with blue LED lights 2 hours before bed can reduce the increase in melatonin levels by 23%, and its side effects are even more extensive. People will lose a lot of REM sleep after using electronic devices, and you will feel twice as tired and sleepy the next day. Therefore, the author advises us to turn off blue light and avoid overly bright overhead lights for a good night's sleep. Second, drinking alcohol before bed is not beneficial for sleep. Besides sleeping pills, many people think alcohol can help us sleep better. This is fundamentally wrong. First, alcohol disrupts our sleep. Many people, after getting drunk, will repeatedly wake up, then fall into a stupor. During this process, sleep is fragmented and has no restorative effect. More seriously, alcohol is one of the strongest inhibitors of REM sleep. When the body metabolizes alcohol, it produces chemical byproducts called aldehydes and ketones, which prevent the creation of REM sleep in the brain. Therefore, the author advises us to avoid alcoholic beverages before bed. Although a glass of wine before bed might help you relax, it can easily cause you to wake up in the middle of the night once the alcohol's effects wear off. And third, an inappropriate ambient temperature. Both excessively cold or hot ambient temperatures can cause sleep disorders. The author suggests that to easily fall asleep, the body's core temperature should drop by about 1 degree Celsius before bed. We try to dissipate heat through our hands, feet, and head. These three parts are close to the skin's surface and have many interwoven blood vessels, which can help us effectively reduce body heat and quickly fall asleep. In addition to the three factors causing insomnia mentioned above, there's another factor that forces you to wake up. In industrial areas, to ensure many workers arrive for their shifts and leave on time, factories use sirens. Similarly, every morning, alarms wake people up, just like we normally set alarm clocks. This brutal way of waking up can cause blood pressure and heart rate to surge. Worse, alarm clocks can cause us to feel sleepy continuously and repeatedly damage our cardiovascular system. If we repeat this action 5 days a week, heart function and the nervous system can suffer lifelong damage. Improper use of alarm clocks not only affects sleep quality, but also harms our health. So, how can we improve our sleep? In our lives today, besides the situation of wanting to sleep but being unable to, there's also the situation of wanting to sleep but not being allowed to. A typical example is elementary school students. Because school usually starts at 7:30 a.m., and some places even at 7 a.m., if they live near the school, children might be woken up by their parents as early as 5:30 to 6 a.m. Children have a different biological clock than adults. They naturally wake up 1 to 3 hours later than adults in the morning. This means a child waking up at 6 a.m. is equivalent to an adult waking up at 3 to 5 a.m. Imagine what it would be like if you woke up at 3 a.m. to get ready for work. Could you maintain your usual composure? You can certainly imagine how much a child struggles to wake up every morning. A Japanese report tracked the academic records of 5,000 elementary school students and found that children who slept relatively well performed better academically. Today, the pressure to make a living is immense, affecting both children and adults. In all developed countries, 1 in 2 adults does not get enough sleep. People believe that smoking is not allowed at work because it's harmful to health and those around them, but they turn a blind eye to sleep deprivation. Some even encourage using sleep time for work. However, both employers and employees fail to realize that poor sleep leads to low productivity and work efficiency. Also, many of you today work freelance. Many think that a few weeks of staying up late to meet deadlines and then catching up on sleep will be fine. But this also leads to severe circadian rhythm disruption. How can we, as individuals, adjust to personal sleep problems? On this matter, the author has given us several scientific and effective methods. The first and most important thing is to train yourself to go to bed and wake up at a fixed time every day, even on Saturdays and Sundays, and to develop the habit of waking up naturally without an alarm clock. For those of you who work freelance, just because you are not bound by an organization's prescribed hours doesn't mean you have complete freedom over everything. You have the freedom to arrange your work, not the freedom to disrupt your sleep schedule. The more disciplined a person is, the freer they become. Before bed, remember to stay away from electronic devices. Instead, read a physical book. Many people delay their sleep day after day. How many people, after finishing their evening routine, still spend some time lying in bed scrolling through social media before finally going to sleep? When you do this, an hour or two flies by very quickly. No matter what you're doing, whether it's for entertainment or anything else, it's time for you to change. Go to bed on time, wake up on time. People with such disciplined lives are truly admirable. The second method is to reduce the amount of caffeine and nicotine found in certain teas, chocolates, sodas, and coffee. These substances might not be completely eliminated from our bodies even after 8 hours of consumption. Nicotine, found in tobacco, is also a stimulant. Smokers will sleep very deeply but will wake up very early in the morning when they quit, which is extremely harmful to health. The third thing is to try to sunbathe for 30 minutes every day. Sunlight can help regulate sleep. If you have trouble sleeping, it's best to spend an hour soaking in the morning sunlight. The fourth is to avoid medications that affect sleep. Some common medications used to treat heart disease, high blood pressure, asthma, as well as cold, cough, and allergy medications can disrupt sleep. You can consult your doctor to see if you can take these medications during the day. Next, if you lie in bed for 20 minutes and still don't feel sleepy, or if you start to feel anxious because you can't sleep, then get up, walk around, or do some light exercises until you feel sleepy. Don't pick up your phone or pressure yourself to force sleep. The sixth is to avoid alcoholic beverages before bed. Drinking a small amount of alcohol might make you feel relaxed, but drinking too much will lead to restless sleep. Next, try to exercise for 30 minutes every day, but finish 2 to 3 hours before sleep. The eighth is to avoid eating or drinking heavily in the middle of the night, as this will lead to indigestion and frequent urination. Next, after 3 p.m., you should not nap, as it will be very difficult to sleep at night. The 10th is to engage in some relaxing activities before bed, such as reading a physical book or listening to sleep-inducing music. The 11th is to take a hot bath before bed. The water will draw some heat away from your body, helping you fall asleep quickly. And finally, keep your bedroom well ventilated, use comfortable pillows, stay away from electronic devices, and avoid noise and light. As you can see, these methods are not difficult to implement. As long as you adjust your lifestyle habits, I am sure you will enjoy a good night's sleep. So, these are the most crucial points I've summarized from this book. In the past, humans always had the right to pursue sufficient sleep, but with the development of the era and increasingly fierce societal competition, many have given up on pursuing adequate sleep. As the author said, a good night's sleep needs no reason, because we are born to be in harmony with sleep. Especially in times of worry and sorrow, sleep is the best medicine. I hope that through this book, besides helping you understand the importance of sleep, it also reminds you to think about your lifestyle and sleep habits to build a healthier and happier life for yourself.